Welcome back. My name's Angie, and I'm your soul alignment mentor, bringing you messages from my spirit team to help you align with your highest self and purpose. So, I have been channeling spirit for probably at least, I would say, 10 months. I had an experience over a year ago in the middle of the night where I woke up and I saw a spirit walking through my room. And this is not necessarily an unusual experience for me because I have seen and had experiences with spirits my entire life. But what was different about this situation was I actually physically saw this spirit walk through my room. It was a woman and she was walking. I could see her back to me as she walked through my room, as she headed to the door of my room to walk out of it. And she had on a dark blue cloak, which was like a cape with the hood over it. And on the cloak were light blue flowers all over it. And as she approached the door of my room, she turned to look at me, and I could see that she was a woman with dark hair. I don't have like details of the exact way she looked, but I did notice that she was a woman with dark hair. And when she turned to look at me, she said, "Annabelle." And I realized that she was telling me her name. And so I started working with this spirit, Annabelle, around that time, which I do believe that she had been around before that night. I had just not been aware of it or conscious of it. And I believe she has been a spirit guide of mine. But what was interesting is after I began to work with Annabelle, I began the channel. And it was shortly after that I really feel like at some point I was channeling Annabelle specifically, but then things started to change and switch for me. And I started to notice a difference in my channeling. And I noticed that it didn't feel like the same energy that Annabelle felt like. And so I asked, who am I representing? Who is speaking through me during this channeling? And I heard a team of beings basically speak at once, and they said, "We are the wisdom keepers. We are the whispers in the wind." And so basically, they explain themselves as a higher dimensional spirit team. The way that they presented themselves was more of a like 11th dimensional spirit team that holds the keys and wisdom of the universe. And what I have noticed in working with them is that they have shared insights with me about the human experience, about human life, about the universe, about different frequencies, different energies, different dimensions, all kinds of things that they have shared with me. And what has been interesting over the last several years as I've gone through my awakening and then as I begin to learn from the wisdom keepers is that interestingly, there's a part of me that hasn't shared a lot of this information because I guess in my my thinking, I just figured everybody had these experiences. And this is what's interesting about being a intuitive or a psychic or a medium that is pretty in tune with energy, or maybe an empath where you can sense and hear and understand energy really well, is we tend to have this idea that other people think and feel the same things that we do. And it often gets us into a place where we struggle with communicating because we feel things so deeply and so intuitively, and we have this idea that what we feel everybody else can feel too, but we forget that they can't. And so I guess this is my way of explaining to you and wanting to encourage you as well. If you are a empath or a spiritual leader or starseed or light worker or healer, medium, whatever it might be, or if you do channel, to open up to the thought that what you're receiving might be beneficial to share, because the reality of it is not everybody is experiencing that. And so if you are kind of on the same understanding as me, where you can sense energy, feel energy, maybe your whole life you kind of felt that, and you didn't really consciously take into consideration that other people didn't have those experiences that you did, comment below, because I want to know that I'm not alone in this. But I woke up this morning with this strange feeling that my spirit team wanted to channel for you. And this is my first time doing a channeling for anybody over a video. I used to hold a women's group that would meet twice a month. And during the women's group, I would channel, and the women would ask questions of the spirit team, and the spirit would answer. And always encouraging, always uplifting, always very intuitive insights that they shared with us about energy, frequencies, moving into new earth energy, and how to really live our human life, connected to our consciousness, to our higher self. And so I don't always know what the spirits will share through me. At this point, I shut my ego down and I do trance channeling, because it is the easiest for me to allow them to just take over and speak. And so the way that I do channel is through releasing my own consciousness and my own mind, I guess you would say, and allowing them to speak through me. I have no idea what they want to share with you today, and I recently have not channeled for anyone else except for myself. And just a week ago, I was channeling for my spirit, or for myself, and received some messages that I thought were really good. And as I'm sharing with you about how they want to communicate with you and speak with you, I'm having that same message come back in my mind. So I will be curious to watch this back to see if they share that same message with you. I do sometimes remember what they're saying, but a lot of times I'm just observing it from a different place in my mind. And I don't always remember what they're saying. Like, I can hear them, I can kind of understand it, but it's not ever until afterwards, if I go back and watch whatever they said, I may not know. So that being said, I am going to go away, and I'm going to allow the wisdom keepers to come in and speak to you and give you a message. So I encourage you to hang out with me. And also, if I forget to say this at the end, I do want to allow space for you all to ask my spirit team questions. So if you want to leave comments below on this video of things that I can channel for you, or have them channel and answer for you, I'm happy to do that. So that is available if you would like. All right. I am going to pause this for a second and get myself ready, and I'll be right back. Welcome, beloveds. We are here to assist you and guide you in your human experience, helping you to align and feel more free in your human existence. We understand there's a lot of things happening on the earth in which you might look around and see and being confused or fearful or worried in some type of way, but we want to remind you that everything around you is an illusion. Compared to the truth of who you are, these things make no difference. They are simply things that are being created within the universe to cause what you would want to say as a human contrast or frequency changes. And if you were able to tune into different notes and things happening within the energy field, you would understand that every single thing around you is happening for you with a purpose, with a reason, with a guidance, with a love, frequency, and energy to push you towards growth and expansion in your true self, which is your soul and your spirit. And your spirit is constantly attempting to guide you towards this understanding. However, as a human, you become disconnected from that part of yourself, forgetting that you are a spiritual being, that your oversoul, your reflected identity of who you truly are, is only projecting into this life as a human at this time, and you are only experiencing one part of that. There are multiple of yous around the universe in which you may have no clue about. When you release the ego mind and come back to the consciousness of who you truly are, you will be able to look around you and see all the different dimensional beings in which you are. You are creating multiple things in the universe with your one frequency and spirit, because your frequency plays a role in the universe expanding itself. And you're not conscious of this as you are in the human flesh, because there's a barrier based on the density and frequencies within the human experience. It is such a low vibration compared to who you truly are that you completely forget that you are the creator of your own life. You completely forget that you are a divine being. You completely forget that you are the frequency of God, a direct, exact replica of the divine being. And so in many ways, you are little gods that are created from the source energy God that you have labeled as God in your human experience. And you reflect that energy and that image in yourself outward. Even though it feels as if this human experience may not be godly or source energy reflection, because it feels hard and dense and so many things feel as if they are a struggle within this timeline that you are in, which in dimension that you currently are living your human life, you forget that you can create the realities and the understanding of what you desire around you. Now, your soul, your spirit, your true selves, the identity and the original tune and frequency of who it is um, collaborated and tuned exactly into the frequency of source, into God energy. And God energy is the frequency of what you call as love. However, the love that you understand as humans is not the exact same frequency in which you are tuned. Many of you are trying to figure out that tuning and trying to discover and learn how to love self, learn how to love more authentically. But you also are trying to figure that out within a human concept and ego, which the ego is always loving for self. Your mind, your body, your ego self is always working to bring and attract things to itself to make it feel better. However, your original self, your frequency of divine love in which you are truly connected with, is only attempting to create and send it outward, because it has nothing else to do but to send it out. It is love. It does not have to become love. It does not have to learn love. It does not have to create it. It is simply it. And so the true, authentic love in which you are seeking as humans is distorted in many ways because you forget what the original form of love really is, which is Source Energy God, which is your true frequency. Now, as humans move through the consciousness of change and what many of you might call a Christ-like consciousness or a 3D, 4D, 5D consciousness, moving into a different frequency, rising your vibration, connecting into the higher dimensional beings, being able to work in channels such as what we are doing now through this human vessel that calls herself Angie, we are understanding that you are attempting to get more and more and more collaborated in touch with this true part of who you are. It is not that you have completely forgotten who you are, because part of you always does remember, because you have to stay connected to the soul to be alive in your body. It is the mind that has blocked it, and the dimensions of what you consider to be dark energy has held you away from that truth of who you are. Now, the more you shift into higher consciousness, the more what you would believe to be more of a 5D energy, the more you shift into that frequency and energy, the more you get in touch with the original echoes of your spirit, the true reflection and the true identity and the beingness of your true spiritual essence. When you understand that you are the energy of love, that is when you become more authentic in your being as a human, which is where the earth is shifting at this time as the new earth frequency is moving and raising in the consciousness to bring the humanity back into authentic connection with self. And then the authentic connection with self allows authentic connection with other divine beings, whether that be other humans, whether that be animals, whether that be nature, whether that be water, whatever it may be. You are beginning to open your higher mind, your consciousness, your ego, what you may even call and consider the third eye or the crown chakra, and the expansion and awareness that all things are consciousness. All things are Source Energy God. Everything that you see, everything that you believe that you see, everything you manifest is Source Energy God. Even money is Source Energy God. You must understand this to work with the frequencies of money, of love, of attraction, of being able to be in your highest power in timeline. When you come back to the consciousness of who you are as a divine being of love, as a frequency of light, you radiate that frequency, and that is what you create out of. Come back to the understanding of who you are, and you will release the resistance to create things around you that cause resistance. Your ego, your human experience, needed to have experiences of the resistance, of the pain, of the grief, of the things that you don't necessarily enjoy as humans, even though in many ways, a lot of you like to be in that energy because it feels so familiar. It feels safe in a way for the ego to stay in low vibration because it is unfamiliar in the body, in the mind, to be at the high vibration. This is why many of you are going through symptoms in your body and your mind, and you're having to go through so much healing to release the old thinking, the old energies, the old frequency of pain or bitterness or anger or grief or whatever is stored in the energetic field of who you are, to open your consciousness back up to your true identity and frequency. Once you allow this to happen instead of force, which many are attempting to do, it is not a forceful act, it is a allowing and flowing act. Once you move into that flowing act of being you, you become free of the constraints and the restrictions in which you created in your mind. Believe and you shall receive. That is the message we want to give you today, and we wish you well. We thank you for this time. We love you tremendously. We send you all the divine love and light from this dimension, and we are thankful that we get to be a part of the expansion of the human consciousness and mind. Until we meet again, we wish you well. Thank you. All right. So as I'm coming back into my body, I just wanted to come back and check in with you all. Again, thank you for the opportunity. And I hope that whatever came through from the Wisdom Keepers was supportive, encouraging, and helpful for you. I look forward to going back to listening to it myself. And again, let me know if there is something that you would like me to specifically ask them to a question of. Just comment below if you are wanting to work on your mediumship abilities, if you're needing healing support. Get into my links, go to my website. I have all kinds of options that you can work with me where you can raise your vibration and begin to manifest the life that you truly desire. So come over and send me a message, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Thanks. Bye.